All right, welcome back for part 3. So the next step is just going to be to take your scissors and cut that beaded rosette off of the leather in a nice clean fashion. And then we are going to take our string and thread it through the eye of the needle, wax the thread, and then tie a knot. And remember to cut the string to about an arm's length. You can go a little bit less too, because we're just doing the rosette. It's whatever's most comfortable for you. I don't like working with a super tiny string, so that's why I find arm's length is always really nice. Now you're going to insert your needle exactly where you want your earring hook to be. So on the top center part of the circle, wherever you choose for that to be, is where you're going to insert that needle. And you're going to snip your thread, the end where the knot is, as close to the knot as you can without compromising the knot. Because see how when I pull it through, you don't want that string sticking out the end. Now that that's done, we're going to be passing up and over through all 3 layers, and we're going to do this a couple times. You see how I'm weaving up and down through those beads, through the deer skin. And now on this one, I came up, not on the deer skin, but up on top of the pellons so that my string is facing north. And what you're going to want to do now is you're going to pick up, it's 6 smoke gray beads. So we got our 6 beads lined up. And you're going to push it over so that it makes a nice arch. And wherever that arch ends is where you're going to stick your needle through, all 3 layers from the beads all the way to the deer skin. And make sure your needle, when you're pushing through the deer skin, is not it's not going directly across. You kind of want to angle it up so that you're hiding the white string. And then you're going to pass back up through that last bead so that your string is facing north again, and then just begin the second row. This time only picking up 5 beads. So I'm stringing it through, and then I'm passing back up through that last bead. And I'll show you that one more time. So I'm going to take 5 beads, I'm going to poke through where I know that the beads are going to lay nice, and then I'm going to pass back up that last bead. Once again, 5 beads, and then you're going to just pass back up that last bead once you punch your needle through those 3 layers. And I want you to do this around the entire circle. And once you get to that last row, that's where I'm going to meet you. Okay, so I am on the second to last section right here, just doing my 5 beads, and then I am coming back up through that last one. And now we're going to be finishing the circle. So what I want you to do is pick up 4 beads. Or honestly, just however many you need to get to where you can reach that first bead that you did. And then you're going to push down through that first bead that you stitched on, and you're going to pass through the 3 layers of deerskin, pellon, and beads, and you're going to come back up that first bead that you started with. Just like you did every other time you were starting a new row. And this is where your earring hook loop is going to be. So in order to do that, we're going to pick up 6 gray beads, making sure they're all similar lengths. And then you're going to pass back down through that same bead, and it should form a loop. From here, you're going to just pass back through those 3 layers in between those the first 2 outer rosette rows. And you see how I'm on the back of the deer skin? What I'm doing right here is I am going to pass back up that same bead again. And now I am going to pass through that loop a couple times in order to get a really strong string so that the earring hook is able to rest on multiple strings instead of just one. So pass through at least 2 to 3 times at least, and then come back down through that first bead. Once you do that, you're going to be tying off your string, which is what I'm doing right here. So I am just passing up and down through the 3 layers, up and down through the deer skin. I'm just kind of weaving my string where you can't see it. And then once I pass through probably like 5 times, give or take, you're going to just pull on that thread with a little bit of tension and snip it off as close to the deer skin as you can. And make sure you're always ending on the side with the deer skin. You see how I'm kind of just sliding across the leather? That's what you want to do. When you pass back and forth, it just makes like an invisible knot. It just has so much tension on the string that it can't go anywhere. So that is how you end your project. And now we're going to be doing the jingle cones. Okay, so we have our jingle cones and our wire all laid out on the table. And I leave you guys with 2 extra cones and 2 extra pieces of wire. Each Starry Night earring only takes 7 cones per earring. So please don't add the extra cones unless you have extra feathers, because I give enough feathers for 14 cones. I just give you those ones for practice. So what you're doing is you're taking the cone, and you'll see that there's like a folded area, and you want to tighten that cone. So you're gonna twist it from the top. You'll see me doing that here so that you can kind of tighten the hole on that cone. And I do that with all of them. It just makes it more secure for the wire that's gonna pass through. So I always tighten my cones. So see, I'm just kind of holding it and then twisting that top. You'll get the hang of it. And just twist in the direction. I think it's just counterclockwise. Okay, so for this next part, I'm going to slow it down to walk you through it. So you're going to be grabbing your wire cutters, your round nose pliers and your piece of wire. And you want to pinch the wire about 1.5 inches down from the top with the back section of your round nose pliers. Then you're going to bend your pliers about 45 degrees, wrap the top part around in the shape of a P. See that? And then you're going to twist a couple times. And instead of clipping it off, you're just going to push it down the tail. So just watch as I do, because sometimes I'm bad at explaining things. Once you do that, you're going to push it through the large end of the cone and pull with a nice tension till you can feel that piece of wire is nice and secure in there. And now you are going to set that aside and grab another one. So once again, I'm going to grab a wire, pinch 1.5 inches down from the top, wrap the wire around. Sorry, my computer or my phone wasn't really focusing that well. You're going to twist it and then press down on that tail. It just adds extra leverage for inside the cone. That's why I keep it on there. If you have too long of a tail, just snip some of it off with the wire cutters and then pull it through until you feel that it's nice and snug. We'll go over this one more time. So you're going to pinch at the back, wrap it around, twist it, push the tail down, and then take the big part of your cone and push that through, pulling until you feel a nice tension. And remember to kind of angle before you wrap the wire around, tilt it at a 45-degree angle so you get a circle and you don't get a P, so that you get a nice loop. And you're going to do that for all 14 of them, or all 7 of them if you're only doing one side right now. Okay, so now that you have all of your cones strung, you're going to be doing that same technique, but you're going to be doing it in about the middle of the round nose plier. And you want your round nose plier to be flush. So you tilt it at a 45-degree, wrap it around like the direction of a P. Take it off, and you see how I have that little gap? Keep that little gap on there so it's easy to put it through your first row of beads. I like to start directly down from the top center. So I go to the bottom center row and I make sure that the hole is large enough to be able to slide that cone around so it's not just like gripping inside between 2 of the beads. And now you're going to take your round nose pliers, grip both sides of that loop so it's nice and secure, and you're just going to have fun and wrap that wire around however you want. I like to do it a little kind of like messy and rustic looking. I just think it has a really nice texture to it. So just do it however you want, and then clip your wire as close to the cone as you can, and press down if you have to so that it's directly on the cone, because no one wants their hair snagged by some jingle cones. That would be annoying. So once again, doing the loop in the middle of the round nose plier, and now I'm going to go to the row next to the one that we just did, putting my cone in. If it's in your way, just move that cone out of the way. The one in front, you could push it forward, which I think I'm going to do right now. Yep, I do. So you just push it and then wrap it around however many times you want, and then just clip it off. I like to clip it in the back of the project as well, so you're not seeing it from the front side of the earring. Just give it a nice clip, and you are going to work your way up both sides of that earring with all 7 cones. And depending on how you spaced your rosettes, your edge work, sorry, you might end up having too high of cones going up, and that looks weird. So you'll want to put the last cone in one of the spaces that you already have one in. So just make it look however you want, and then I will meet you at part 4, which is the final step, and it is so fun. It's the feathers, so I'll see you there.